welcome to the weekend edition of the Nightly Nuge. I always love it when I see the bow and arrow in your hand on the weekend. How's your weekend going, Ted?
You know, my weekend is perfect. In fact, my week is perfect. Mrs. Nuge and I, we get up and we snuggle and have some good Black Rifle coffee in the morning. We snuggle with Happy Sadie and Cocoa. And then before you know it, we grab our Matthews bows because the world is so ugly, so treacherous that we have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And on the Nightly Nuge Weekend Edition, we celebrate the spirit of the wild. I call it the spirit of the wild because when we go beyond the concrete hell zone of the cities and the municipalities and the treachery of our government, nothing will cleanse your soul more efficiently, more immediately, and more fun than the mystical flight of the arrow. So we celebrate the outdoor lifestyle. We have the Spirit of the Wild TV show now #1 on the Pursuit Network. Thank you everybody for celebrating that we don't produce Ted Nugent's Spirit of the Wild. We just push the record button and document the perfection of God's tooth, fang, and claw nature. Ted Nugent's Spirit of the Wild on Pursuit Network, the #1 hunting show in the world right now. Thank you very much. But we all know, Keith, why it's the #1 hunting show, because of Shemaine's Queen of the Forest segments. This is a celebration of the outdoors, and the hunting lifestyle creates strong people with dirt on their hands. In fact, this year on tour, the Ted Nugent Adios Mofo Tour, I'm every city I play, and the tickets are selling out. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Hey, go to tednugent.com if you want to
go to tednugent.com.
And
go to tednugent.com and see where we're playing. But every day when I get ready to go on stage, we're going to have a bowl of local earth. We're going to go find a field and we're going to get a fistful of dirt and put it in the bowl. And like the gladiator about to go into battle, before I go on stage, when Street Fighting Man by the Rolling Stones is playing and the lights are coming down, I'm going to grab a fistful of Mother Earth and I'm going to connect. I'm going to be down to earth. I am going to be grounded when I unleash the Ted Nugent Rhythm and Blues Rock and Roll All-American Kicker soundtrack. So that's what the Nightly Nuge celebrates on the Conservation Weekend Edition, is that the more time we spend outdoors, the stronger we'll be. I've been lifting up feed sacks. I got this nutritional supplement, but it's important as we're celebrating the strength of good America, while we are heartbroken at the intentional weakening and de-souling of America by our government and big tech. And we brought it up earlier this week, Keith. Just think the military GI warrior of World War II going on that Normandy beach and up Iwo Jima. I get to hang out with these guys. I spent a campfire with a survivor of the Bataan Death March and Lieutenant Dennis Thompson, who was on Normandy Beach and refused to shake Barack Obama's hand during one of those celebrations because he saw that Barack Obama was the enemy of America and he was just posing to fool the people even further. So just think, in this day and age where Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin, in charge of defending America, Department of Defense, is literally using drag queen perverts to supposedly recruit people instead of warriors. Just think if a drag queen pervert was challenged to go on the beach of Normandy or Omaha Beach or up Iwo Jima or Okinawa. Just think if those warriors were drag queen recruited. We are at a junction in America. This is a fork in the road that we should probably take. The famous catcher. What was that famous catcher's name that said that? If you come to a fork in the road, you should take it?
Bob Uecker.
No, not Bob.
No, Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra. Yeah. Yogi Berra. I'm not a baseball guy, but I remember the quote. But anyhow, we're at a fork in the road, and I recommend we take it. We need to let our elected employees know that we see what they're doing. They're weakening America. And once again, the weekend edition of the Nightly Nuge is about strengthening our families, getting those kids outdoors, getting them down to earth, and planting a food plot, and planting some trees. The Nugent family plants trees every spring since 1970. We've created forests, cleaning our air, soil, and water with our own environmental responsibility and resource stewardship challenges. This is a great celebration in America, and it's turkey season, it's fishing season, it's bear season. There's a lot of outdoor activities that are calling our name, and I think we should respond because we need the healing powers of nature now more than ever.
You know, I think now with the stat that we gave earlier this week on the Nightly Nuge, 70% of America being overweight. When they get to the fork in the road, they pick up the fork and eat it.
I'm afraid they pick up the fork and eat it. Yes, that's why there's so...
Here's my last thought. So we see these anti-hunting groups going after hunting and hunters, trying to basically abolish hunting and do away with hunters, which in my opinion would eliminate the true warrior gene in America.
Yes.
What's your final word, Ted, on what happens to America if hunters and hunting is truly destroyed and lost?
Well, the ultimate compliment you can give someone, I have people give it to my family and my sons and daughters every day. You know, I met your son, Rocco. He's really down to earth. I met Sasha. Boy, she's really grounded. What a great compliment. But that means in touch with God's miraculous creation, hands-on conservation, the outdoor lifestyle where you can kill your own food, you know how it gets to your plate, where you plant crops and you monitor and manage and upgrade wildlife habitat that produces quality air, soil, and water. If we lose that down-to-earth, grounded gene, we're going to have a bunch of city kids out there that don't know which end of a hammer to grab. We have always been rugged individuals, been creative, we've been entrepreneurs. Speaking of entrepreneurs, there's a family out of Wisconsin that creates one of these unbelievable nutritional supplements for wildlife. It's called Whitetail Products Gone Wild. Whitetailproductsgonewild.com. That's a simple thing to fortify your wildlife. The turkeys and the squirrels and the woodchucks and the deer and the raccoons and the possum and the skunk, the songbirds, everything comes to this whitetailproductsgonewild.com stuff. And it's just a family. In the garage, they started granulating apples and acorns and squash and pumpkins, and they saw that the wildlife benefited from it. But they get their hands dirty. They're working hard, playing hard Americans. My guitar playing comes from my dirty hands. That's why every night on tour, I'm going to get a fistful of local dirt so I connect with the local spirit. And that's an important upgrade that America needs now more than ever, because if we're going to fight the evil that infests our government and big tech and Hollywood and the media, we have to be stronger than ever. Slow and fat doesn't cut the mustard in a culture war that has turned into a spiritual war.
You know what, Ted? You always get the last word, but I'm going to take it on this weekend edition because Spirit of the Wild has always been my favorite outdoor television show. I did a television show on a competing network for 10 years, but because you switched over with that show to the Pursuit Network, the Pursuit Channel, I started watching that channel. And you know what, Ted? There's some very good programming there in addition to the Ted Nugent Spirit of the Wild. I would highly encourage all of our listeners to check out the Pursuit Channel, especially Spirit of the Wild, because if it gets any better for outdoor programming, I don't know how to do it. Ted, congratulations on being the #1 show on the Pursuit Channel. I encourage our listeners and our viewers to go watch you there. We're going to come back next week with some more critical thinking on the current issues right here on the Nightly Nuge.
God bless real America. See you next week, Keith.